In your car, listen to Newswatch 16 on WKRZ AM 1340.
Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Roland in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. Water is the big news story tonight on two separate fronts. One, high water is causing flooding in many parts of our area. We'll have team coverage in a moment. The other story is contaminated water. This time, it affects about 1,000 customers of the Moscow Water Company and its reservoir. They live in and around the Moscow borough in Lycoming County. They are now being advised to boil their drinking water. But that's not all. PG&W learned from the state DER today that another of its reservoirs is contaminated with Giardia. This time it's the Nesbitt Reservoir, which is above and flows into the already contaminated Springbrook Reservoir. PG&W is planning this summer to build a pipeline from the Nesbitt to supply Giardia-free water to Lackawanna and Luzerne County customers. DER today says it's not yet prepared to order a halt to that pipeline being built. And as we said at the beginning of the show, the Susquehanna River is on the rise, and that's where Karen Harch is live right now. Karen?
Nolan, this is the third time since December that I've stood here on the banks of the Susquehanna River showing you just how high the river level is. Now, if you take a look behind me, you can see that the Susquehanna is very swollen. Its muddy waters are really moving fast. And in fact, right now the river is at 29.9 feet and rising slowly. Emergency management officials tell us that the river should crest at near 30 feet at around midnight tonight. Now that's the situation here in Wilkes-Barre, but what about the rest of our area? Pilot Jack Roland took Skycam 16 up to get a bird's eye view of the Susquehanna.
We're taking Skycam 16 north, and we're going to give you a report on the river conditions starting in Towanda. Here in Towanda in Bradford County, you can see that the airport is partially covered with water, and the low-lying farmlands are also partially covered with the rising river water. These houses in Towanda are right at the edge of the airport, and you can see that they have water almost up to their first floors. A little further south, on Route 187, just across the river from Wyalusing, you can see that the river has shut down the road, and there is a car stuck in the middle. Along Route 187 and Sugar Run, you can see that the road is also closed. Here in downtown Mashopin, you can see that the creek feeding into the river has the water up over the road. Across from Ransom on Route 92, you can see that the river is up over the roadway at the present time. Here along Susquehanna Avenue in West Pittston, you can see that the river is coming up slowly. Here along Route 11 in West Nanticoke, the trucks are still able to get through the floodwaters as they're coming up, but it won't be long and it will be closed. And further south down here in Susquehanna, you can see that the river is coming up slowly. Route 11 is still open and passable at this time. This is Jack Roland from Skycam 16 over the rising Susquehanna River.
I'd like to correct something. The river is at 29.09 feet. That is the correct level of the river right now, the Susquehanna River in Wilkes-Barre. Well, let's find out if more rain is coming and how the flooding we're seeing now compares to the floods of December and February. Our meteorologist Tom Clark is live in his weather office. Tom?
Okay, Karen, indeed, this is the third high water event along the Susquehanna River in the past 5 months. Now, the one happening now was aggravated by those heavy thunderstorms that moved through last evening and dumped as much as 2 inches of additional rain on the watershed of the Susquehanna. Let's go to the computer graphic and take a look at the graph, and I can show you that we had high water back in December 15th of last year, 29.8 feet at Wilkes-Barre, and in February 16th of this year, 29 feet was the crest stage at Wilkes-Barre, and as Karen told you, close to 30 feet is the expected crest tonight along the river. One of the aspects contributing to this is the increase in paving, new construction along the riverbanks, and that's allowing more water to feed into the river, which aggravates the situation as well. So saturated ground was a big problem, but the storm was a slow mover. It's moving out over this weekend. No more heavy rain expected over the next 2 days. Nolan?
Thank you, Tom. Several roads remain closed tonight in spots because of the high water. Route 405 is closed in 3 sections between Watsontown in Northumberland County and where the road joins with Route 147. Legislative Route 690 between Paxtonville, Snyder County, and Beavertown is closed. And in Luzerne County, Route 92 in the Harding area from Sutton Creek to Oberdorfer Road. Route 239 at the Mackinac Underpass is closed. And 239 is closed at Wapwallopen. The Pond Hill Road south from Wapwallopen to Nescopec is closed, and Route 11 is closed in several places. Between Shamokin Dam and Northumberland at West Nanticoke, that road is closed, and from Nanticoke Bridge to Hunlock Creek. Also, State Police tell Newswatch 16 that several secondary country roads in Wyoming and Bradford counties are closed in sections because of high waters. One of the areas that gets flooded first is downriver of Wilkes-Barre in Susquehanna and in West Nanticoke. Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds is in West Nanticoke right now live. Bob, what does it look like there?
Nolan, as you can see, there is a lot of water here in West Nanticoke. And right over my shoulder is just about the top of a very large picnic grove. And but right now, people in the West Nanticoke area and all over are basically trying to go through their Friday night routine. But they are keeping a wary eye on the Susquehanna. The same is true downstream in Mackinac. Anna Slominski has seen her home go through 11 floods, and each time she's bounced back. But during the last 5 months, Anna's life has been uprooted 3 times by flooding. The frustration is building.
It's getting worse and worse. I don't know how much more I could take. My husband isn't feeling good. I'm not feeling good. I don't know.
Anna has her family to pull her through, but they too are upset. Their small community has really no protection against the raging Susquehanna. Towns like Wilkes-Barre do.
You know, nobody even comes down to see you. You know, nobody. You know, all you need to worry about is Wilkes-Barre. Wilkes-Barre. Don't worry about Susquehanna, Mackinac, all Hunlock Creek, all your small towns. No, Wilkes-Barre.
The federal government says it simply isn't worth spending millions of tax dollars to protect towns like Mackinac. So that means each time the Susquehanna rises, families will continue to watch the river push through their cellar walls, strip their homes of furniture, and wait to see how high the water will go. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, Luzerne County.
People who live upriver are already seeing some flooding. As you leave Luzerne County for Wyoming County, some of the flooding there is serious. Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini traveled that route today and found the high water is disrupting many lives.
Route 92 often gets flooded when the Susquehanna River is high. With part of the road closed in Exeter Township, these students from the Full Gospel Academy in Pittston were sent home early.
I said people from Hardingham Falls, your bus is waiting outside, so we left to school early.
Many miles up the river in Meshopin Township, Wyoming County, a development called Mile Beach becomes part of the Susquehanna. 78-year-old Bill Crooks takes us on a tour, passing homes whose owners have left. He insists on rowing and staying.
And now we're getting it regular. What are you going to do? Got quite a few bucks invested there, and you can never sell it because who the hell would buy it?
Back on dry land, where they can find it, some are taking precautions. A wooden chair, a croquet set, some bird feeders, wood, and other belongings. All part of Alex Bernatitis' basement. His grandchildren are here, helping him remove the stuff.
It seems like it's every other month. We had one here in December, and then we had one in February, and now we got one in April.
People who live along the Susquehanna seem to always compare each flood with the Great Flood of 1972. Alex Bernatitis says a couple hours' work, even every 2 months, is still better than losing everything. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, Meshopin Township, Wyoming County.
Where this river splits off into its west branch, there is no major flooding, but in some of the low-lying areas there is some high water. In Lycoming County, it's not the river, but the creeks that are overflowing. Newswatch 16's Craig Stevens says people there are cleaning up all over again.
Mud is everywhere, evidence of Lycoming Creek overflowing its banks. Wherever you look, people are pumping out basements. Bill and Deborah Gardner never recovered from February's flooding. Their damaged belongings still in their yard. Now they have to clean up all over.
Oh, start from scratch, start cleaning up again. That's the only thing you can do, really.
I get tied up in knots just watching the water come up and stuff. The kids get excited, I don't. They think it's neat, but I don't, so we just keep hanging in there.
Jeff Anello is also cleaning up and pumping out, but he's making sure he doesn't have to do it again.
Well, all I got to say is we're moving high on a hill. That's, that's all there is to it, or out of the flood zone at least, because this is like a steady job for me now. It's like I haven't taken these boots off since February, it seems like, so,
But not everyone who lives along a creek will decide to leave. Some simply can't afford to go. Others decide that all this mess in the spring is worth all the beauty that's here in the summertime. Craig Stevens, Newswatch 16 along Lycoming Creek in Old Lycoming Township.
And I just got some more latest figures on the Susquehanna River here in Wilkes-Barre. It is at 29.16 feet right now, and in Towanda it is at 21.70 feet and falling. So that's a good sign, because that means our crest should come pretty soon. Now, yesterday we showed you some areas in the Poconos that were threatened by overflowing creeks and streams. Today things seem to be back to normal. Those who had to leave their homes are back in those homes now. Some streams are still high, but as far as our crews out on the road could tell, there's no danger to any homes. Now let me take you back to the floods of February for just a moment. You may remember these scenes in Muncie where the flooding was at its worst. Flash flooding along the west branch of the Susquehanna River caused a lot of damage. Well, today, Governor Thornburg asked the Small Business Administration to okay special disaster loans for people here in Lycoming County, as well as 17 other counties in central Pennsylvania that were hard hit by those February flood waters. At least 40% of the damage during February is not insured. And I'll be back in a moment with more along the Susquehanna River in Wilkes-Barre. Nolan?
Plus, we'll also keep you posted on the giardiasis situation at the Moscow Water Company.
How high will you try? $16,000 can be yours weekdays at 4.
We told you earlier that some residents in the Lackawanna County community of Moscow are being advised to boil their water tonight. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis was at DER headquarters in Wilkes-Barre today when that surprise announcement was made. Mark is live now in our Wilkes-Barre newsroom with the whole story. Mark?
Nolan, about 1,000 people who get their water from the Moscow Water Company in Lackawanna County have been added to the list of 180,000 others who are boiling water because of Giardia. It's becoming a very familiar scene, a Friday news conference at DER to announce another problem with a dirty water source.
The Moscow Reservoir showed heavy concentration of Giardia cyst. We are therefore asking and issuing an immediate boil advisory.
The reservoir is a small one and is used by the Moscow Water Company, serving about 1,000 people in that Lackawanna County community. Another water source, Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company's Nesbitt Reservoir, as seen from Skycam 16, is also contaminated with Giardia, and that presents another problem. Nesbitt is where PG&W is building a pipeline to bypass the also dirty Springbrook Reservoir. But DER says the utility should not yet stop building that pipeline.
Our early position is that the construction should continue per the order. You must recognize that if that does not occur, we would be looking at maintaining a boil until the filtration plant is constructed.
And that would be quite a few years from now. Now, there's only been one case of giardiasis tied to this latest announcement by DER. Officials first learned of the test results this morning and promptly gave them out to us, the news media, this afternoon. Now, for Moscow residents, an important note tonight. Clean water is available at the firehouse on Main Street until 10 o'clock. And then beginning tomorrow and every day it's needed from now on, from 9 in the morning until 5, free water is available at the firehouse on Main Street. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, with a live report from the Wilkes-Barre newsroom. Nolan?
Thank you, Mark. In Harrisburg, the Public Utility Commission today took some action regarding PG&W water rates for customers getting Giardia-contaminated water. The PUC has ordered its administrative law judge, who is holding hearings on proposals to cut those water rates, to speed up his hearings. They weren't scheduled to be finished until July 12th, when a decision in August would come. But now the PUC wants the law judge to give them his decision on June 30th. Also today, the PUC unanimously approved a natural gas hike for PG&W. It's only $8.6 million rather than the $14.6 million requested by PG&W for gas customers. Average cost for homes with natural gas, about $58 a year. Now, our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark, is up next. He'll have the forecast. Tom?
Okay, Nolan, first of all, no heavy thunderstorms tonight.
Good.
That's guaranteed. But when we come back, I'll tell you when I think the next storm will hit. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Dave Lettieri from Scranton. I started my training in northeastern Pennsylvania 7 years ago. And today I'm at Scranton's Nayog Park where I had my first bike race. And now I'm training for the 1984 Olympics. It will take a lot of hard work and dedication to get to the Olympic Games, and we need your support. So please send your contribution to the United States Olympic Committee. And who knows, maybe you'll see me in Los Angeles next year.
A public service of WNEP TV 16.
Well, because of the press of today's news, we'll be unable to bring you the last in Dan Fiorucci's series on nuclear energy, but we will bring you that last report on Monday. Now out to the backyard, and Tom Clark. Tom?
Okay, Nolan, thank you. It is chilly outside in the backyard now. Nothing more than some sprinkles coming down now, and the temperature is in the 40s over most of the area. Let's check the readings now as they stand. In this backyard, the temperature is 44. Humidity is 76%, the wind west at 10, and the barometer is rising. A good sign. The high today was 49. That came just past midnight last night. The low so far is 44. The record high, like the middle of summer, on this date back in 1929. And there it is, the mighty Susquehanna River live just off the Pierce Street Bridge in downtown Wilkes-Barre. An incredible discharge of water and mud and just about everything else coming down the river tonight. Now here we have the latest satellite picture, the Newswatch 16 color satellite picture. Look at Pennsylvania underneath some low stratocumulus clouds, and that's because of a pocket of very cold air in the upper atmosphere moving very, very slowly up towards the northeast. We will be under shades of gray again tomorrow with just some light sprinkles and some snow flurries the next 24 hours. That's it. Just a trace of precipitation probably tonight and tomorrow. We'll get into this clear weather on Sunday, but another storm system in the Rockies will move in and probably bring us more rain Tuesday of next week. Now here's the forecast for tonight. Shower is possible. Some sprinkles, some drizzle, even some snow flurries around. 32 the low in Canton and Glenburn up there in Lackawanna County. 34 the low in Nanticoke and in New Columbus, a section of Nescahoning in Carbon County. 35 tonight, and also in the middle 30s in Lewisburg tonight. Now tomorrow, a cloudy day for the most part. The sun may break through late in the day. Nothing more than a few snow flurries in the morning. That's it as far as precipitation is concerned, but it will be a cold wind. If you're going to go out to the political rally tomorrow and see Gary Hart in Scranton or Wilkes-Barre, wear a heavy coat. It's going to be chilly. Readings tomorrow will be holding in the 40s. Sunrise and sunset 5:37 and 6:35. Now let's go ahead to Sunday. Beautiful, 55 degrees, delightful. Clouding up on Monday, and again, more rain is possible Tuesday of next week. But 3 days now to dry out. Nolan?
All right, I like that 3 days. I like that 55 degrees, too, over there.
Nice.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Joe Zone's coming up next. He'll have a record-setting NBA performance. That story as Newswatch 16 continues.
Spring Gobbler tips tomorrow.
Well, Kareem Abdul Jabbar, over 31,000 points.
Well, you got to play a long time, and
Amen.
A lot of people could play twice that long and not do it. And many of you, I guess, were basketball fans during the Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain eras. But as far as I'm concerned, Kareem Abdul Jabbar is the most dominant, the most consistent, the most valuable player in NBA history. They jammed the place last night. the new arena in Las Vegas to see one thing, Kareem Abdul Jabbar become the NBA's all-time leading scorer. You know what? They weren't disappointed early in the fourth quarter. Watch what's happened. The jam right there ties Wilt Chamberlain, 31,419 on the list. Then, 8 minutes to go in the fourth, NBA history was made. And appropriately, on Jabbar's trademark shot, you know what it is. It's the sky hook, and here it comes. The game was stopped for nearly 5 minutes, and then after a Laker win, Kareem talked about the big accomplishments.
I think it's a mark of my consistency. There's probably more to it than that, but I haven't had time to think about that.
Was it something you wanted? I mean, you sometimes hold back your personal feelings about personal records.
Well, it wasn't the first thing I wanted. I've always enjoyed scoring. I can't deny that. But I've enjoyed what we've achieved as a team more than that.
Chamberlain, by the way, was not there last night. You know what? I was looking over that high school all-state team again. There are 55 kids on it, and not one of Northwest area's kids is there. Now, I can't believe that either Jeff Stever or Kevin Ustat did not get at least an honorable mention. You know, they led the Rangers to 2 state titles, 65 wins in 66 games. You trying to tell me there is not one all-state player at Northwest? I say that's bull. Now, usually the all-state voting is a popularity contest anyway. Each sportscaster and sports writer tries to get his kids from his area on the team. That's one reason why I have never voted. But I'll tell you what, if they're going to keep favoring the big schools over the smaller ones, then I am going to start voting. Hey, I keep hearing about the Detroit Tigers as the team to beat in the East. And I'll tell you what, they're off quick and early. They got out on top today, 2-0 with a couple of singles, but White Sox rookie Ron Kittle got the opening day crowd excited, made it 2-1. The Tigers go on to win today 3-2, and they are still undefeated. Yankees tonight in Texas, Phillies in Cincinnati. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot, and I will see you at 11 o'clock.
I think the hometown fans felt cheated because they couldn't see Kareem's big score?
They've seen probably 18,000 of his points over their career.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Thank you, Joe. We'll see you at 11. Newswatch 16 continues with more on the flooding situation next.
WNEP salutes the Northwest Area Rangers, state Class A champs again.
All right, for the very latest now on what's happening, especially with the River Watchers. Back to Karen, live in Wilkes-Barre. Karen?
Yes, Nolan, once again, the word on the high waters in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Here along the Susquehanna River in Wilkes-Barre, the river is right now at 29.16 feet. Now, when the river crests, that's expected at midnight, emergency management officials say it should be at around 30 feet. So it really doesn't have too much further to rise. In Towanda, the Susquehanna is at 21.7 feet and falling. And that's our report for now. We will have more on the update, the very latest information on those river levels. Good night.